Richard's, you know, channel. So if you don't mind, I'll give a little intro and then we can just dive into it. I'm Lily Kwong. I'm sitting here with Ron Finley, the gangster gardener of South Central Los Angeles, and he started a garden just in the front of his house and started a movement. You might have seen him on his master class right now where he's teaching people how to grow food and care for their plants at probably the most timely moment in our lifetimes that we can remember. And I just admire this man's work and I'm excited to talk to him. So I'm gonna turn it over to you and have you introduce yourself. I couldn't do it and encapsulate everything you do.
I think you did a hell of a job, Lil. You know? How you guys doing? Ron Finley, gangster gardener from South Central, but I represent the world. You know?
I've heard that you say that we are gardens ourselves, which is you know, a new idea for many to wrap their brains around, wondering what that means.
It shouldn't be. Just like a garden, we need to be watched over by somebody that cares, by a garden, by somebody. We're just like plants, and we need somebody to take care of us at a certain point in our lives. But still, as you grow up, you still need somebody to guide you and to groom and to in a way, just look after you, even if it's not like right on you. And the things around you are what feed you. So if you have beauty around you, I got a simple saying: beauty in, beauty out. That's what you're gonna get out. But if you have ugliness and larceny and violence and drugs and alcoholism, 9 times out of 10, that's what you're going to take out of it. You're not going to be able to appreciate the beautiful things around you, and that's and I become like I guess a social a sociologist or urban anthropologist by putting my garden on the street, because I see how people interact with it. I see how some people like, wow, they enjoy it and it's beautiful, and other people, it's almost like the beauty bothers them, because you got to realize if somebody's not accustomed to this, it's so different to them. You know, it makes them feel odd. You know, I've had people, I see people, I've watched kids grow up where their parents bring them by the garden every day. It's part of their walk. You know. And
how does that change them? Like, how have you seen people kind of in your community interact with what you've planted?
Oh man, there's this one, these kids that come by, and I got to get them on tape at one point, and they tell their grandmother, "Mommy, we want to go to the jungle," and they live, a few blocks away, and so I just happened to be on the other side of the fence, and the kid yells, "My jungle!" and I went up like, what'd you call this? He said, "It's my jungle." I said, "No, it is. It's your jungle." And I was, man, it just warmed my soul. And I'm like, yes, that's why I do this. I mean, for these kids. And she says, they tell me, she says, every day we're going to walk, we want to go to the jungle. And there's another parent, his kid literally has him carrying the kid, then in a stroller, and then a wagon, and now the kid is on this bike, and he used to bring him by every day. It was part of their walk, and he would point out plants to this child. So there are a lot of people that get it, that we are nature. It's not nature over there and then us over here. And this is we got to realize plants are alive.
Action. I was saying, when you planted your little strip of land in front of your home, you weren't expecting a movement. You weren't expecting people to get involved at the level that they did. You didn't expect to change city policy. Can you take us through the very beginnings of that?
No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to. No, I want to do new shit. I want that shit. That's 10 years. You know what I'm saying? That's 10 years. And I
so
don't.
What's today? What's the moment? What is your, what is?
Can you hear that? I guess you can. The Hummingbird just went by.
And I think that's important. And I think that's totally correct. Thanks for calling me out, because new world needs new solutions.
This chime bother, is that going to be too much?
No, it's a nice touch.
Can you hear it?
Nice
okay.
touch.
Okay.
But new world, new solutions. How are you experiencing this moment?
Yeah, new solutions for the new world order.
That's right.
No, all that's happening now is my voice is being amplified.
Yeah.
And my cause is being amplified, and that's what I want to happen. I mean, no one prepared me for this. No one prepared me to be in this situation. No one, like you were saying, I didn't plan this. I didn't plan that, some random black guy plants a garden in South Central and all of a sudden, you're on a stage in Greece or Qatar or the University of Florida or all over the world. No, who could possibly have thought something like that was going to happen? I don't think Watson the computer would have figured that out either. So the thing now, I'm able to be even more amplified dealing with this wonderful company by the name of Masterclass. Just dealing with people that think like that. It's been incredible because I'm getting hit up all over the world. And what I love about what's happening now is people are watching the masterclass and they're immediately going out and putting in a vegetable garden, putting in a herb gardening, getting a drawer, finding things in their garage which they were going to throw away and growing food in them, and realizing how rewarding and how simple this truly are.
Why do you think that so many people don't do it? Why do you think?
Why would you do it when all you have to do is push a button and food comes to your door? Or you get in your car and you go through a window. What
are we missing by doing that? Like, it's so much harder to plant seeds.
Well, it's not though. It's not so much. Is it so much harder to have cancer and asthma and diabetes? And is that harder or what? I mean, because food is medicine. And is it harder? Would you rather be with your children and your family than be at work somewhere and feeding them slop? No, food is everything. Food is life. Gardens equal life to me. But the biggest thing to me, gardens equal freedom. That's why I plant the garden. It's like people don't realize we're all enslaved. We're all enslaved by these big companies. And it's like people, what made you get into the agriculture business? I'm like, everybody on this planet is in the agriculture business. Do you eat food? You're in the agriculture business. Do you wear clothes? You're in the agriculture business. Do you have a car? You're in the agriculture business. But we're not taught to look at it like that. No, I want people to realize the lessons that they're missing by not being in the garden, because there's a metaphor for everything in life in this garden. And where else could you do this? And have a gooseberry right next to you.
We as a studio, I shared some of our work with you a couple months ago. We created this large scale botanical artwork. That's what we've done for the past few years. And then when this crisis hit, we were humbled, brought to our knees and kind of started understanding what's the best thing we can do to serve our community in this moment. So we've started this initiative, funnily enough, called Freedom Gardens, where we're encouraging people to grow their own food and support themselves for the first time. And it's a new journey for us as well. I haven't cultivated food since I was a child. Wondering, how are you encouraging, especially on your masterclass, which has been such a resource, for me over the past few weeks of beginning this journey of how do you encourage people to begin? What's the first step? What was?
I mean, the first step is to start. You know, the first step is you don't have to listen to nobody. And I must say, what you do, your stuff is amazing. I mean, your stuff is heart wrenching. I mean, and it's beautiful and it's so inspiring. And I'm like, how the hell does she do that? You know, I mean, no, your stuff is amazing, and everybody, if you haven't seen it, you should. I mean, it really is so inspiring. You know,
I mean, you are giving me an completely other dimension to how I was thinking about approaching work, and like I am here to support you and what you do, because you made me realize we could be going so much deeper.
Oh please, you made me realize that I need to step my game up. Like, you ain't doing nothing.
No, man. I want to know. I mean, that what you've done truly transforms people's lives. And I feel like and the work we've done thus far, when we do it well, it plants an idea in someone's head.
But isn't that the seed?
Grows.
Isn't that the seed? Doesn't everything start from a seed? And that's the thing. How do we change man's need for greed into man's need for seed? Because every idea is a seed, you know? And
I've heard you say that, and I've heard you say growing your own food is growing money. Like
it's like printing your own money. Yes, it is, because we are not trained to look at it as a resource. You know, the only resource we're trained to look at is money. You know, I'll ask, what is the single most important thing to your life? I'll ask the people that, and I said, don't answer me. I asked them 3 times. What is the single most important thing to your life? Oh, my family. You know, oh, success. I know, food, right? I'm like, no, none of that shit. I said, no. I said, air is the single most important thing to your life. Oh, not my life. No, I said, okay, let me put you in a chokehold and we'll see if you eating this hamburger is gonna save your life. You know, we don't get it because we're not trained. Everything on this planet, the single most important resource is oxygen, even in the water. It's called H2O for a reason. You know, but we're not taught that. We're not taught that we are energy. You know, I say, okay, when somebody resuscitates you, what do they put on you? Oh, they give you mouth to mouth. I'm like, when you're dead, what do they resuscitate you with? Pure unadulterated electricity, though. No, that's another. They put the pads on you, and that's electricity. So if electricity is gonna bring you back to life, what are we? They're not spreading milk on you or, you know, fairy water or some shit. It's electricity. It brings you back to life. So if it does, what does that mean you are? You know, we're current, we're electricity, and you will learn that when you make compost. You will learn that nothing ever dies. Because if it did, how did it get to this stage? How did it heat up to 150 degrees? These are simple lessons that are all around us, but we haven't been trained to see them because of what we value, or what we've been trained to value. So of course we don't value air. The one thing that you need to give praise to every fucking day. You know?
That's why I started working with plants, as it started teaching me the great mysteries of the universe and taught us about, I mean, what you just said about compost. It's like an exact illustration of the life cycle.
Right.
You live, you die, new life comes, different forms, same life.
Yeah.
I think we're going through a huge wave of death right now, you know, a wave of literally many people leaving our planet right now, which is harrowing and difficult and hard. And then also just death of lots of dreams, of ways of living, of ways of doing things. I don't know if there are lessons that you have from your experience gardening of that. How do you feel, I guess, about death, given what you have cultivated over the past decade plus?
I don't, because I don't think anything dies. It's like you said, it's like energy never dies, and we are energy. We decompose just like a leaf does, but we don't see all the resources and all the work that a leaf do. Well, if we thought about leaves in a different way, we wouldn't throw them away. You know, because they're on the tree for a reason. They fall off the tree for another reason, and then they turn into mulch, and then they turn into compost. And so you see this circle. You see the circle of life in a tree, but we're not trained to see that this leaf is literally feeding this tree, even in death, if we want to use that term. It's still feeding the tree in death because now it's compost. You know, but we're not looking at worms as a resource, you know, because of course the only resource we have is money. So it's like, in what I want people to do, what I want people to see, what I want to train people with, no, you want to make some money, start a worm farm. You know, I met a guy who he said, Ron, you know, you're right. That's how I paid for my college tuition. I used to sell worms to the fisheries. And we don't look at soil, dirt we don't look at that as a resource where we're not looking at the people that are making billions of dollars off of these simple resources. And that, I just want people to start there, that you matter. Let's start first at humanity. Let's try that for a change, you know. And I've been able to witness this happen. I mean, and it's kind of marvelous. But because with masterclass, I didn't think my masterclass was not hard. I didn't think it was. I think it was like, man, it's too, you know, it's too elementary, kind of, sort of, like we should. And they're like, no, Ron, your class is going to be great. Your class is going to be big. They're like, nah. And now what I'm seeing, they were completely right. Now what I'm seeing is we got to get people where they're at. And we got to understand too, Lil, that there's so many people who never touched soil ever in their life.
Trust me, I know firsthand. And one of my favorite things to do is get city kids planting with me, because the joy, you can see the electricity in people's body and faces when you get kids who, you know, have grown up in South Central or New York City or whatever, and just, they think the world's concrete. They think the ground's made of concrete.
Yeah.
You know,
soil seduces people. That's what I tell them.
So what about you? How did you, I mean, you say beauty in, beauty out, but I know you have a legacy in South Central. That's where you grew up. And, you know, from what I've read, a lot of the urge to create all this beauty was because you were seeing liquor stores and dialysis centers and, you know, not a lot of traditional, quote unquote, beauty. Where did this intuitive connection to nature come from and soil come from?
I think just tapping into the fact that being a creative, you know, I didn't have people around me that called themselves creatives. I didn't have, you know, artists around me. I didn't, you know, it was like the goal was to get a job and go work for the government, the post office, or the Rapid Transit District, which was RTD, was Metro back then. You know, that was the goal, to get one of these jobs and get your watch after 50 years or whatever, some stupid shit, you know. And I don't know, I didn't see it. I mean, I think that's where the tailoring came up. I just knew there was another world. Junior high school, I used to pass by the home ec class, and they used to put the cakes and the pies in the window, and the smell was just like, damn, I need to be down with those chocolate chip cookies. So I went to the counselor, like, hey, I want to take the cooking class. And she said, you can't, because it's for girls. And I said, well, aren't most men chefs? How the hell? I don't know where I pulled that from. And she stopped and she says, you know, you're right. And because of that, they started a boys' cooking class because of me. But I didn't see it as that. I saw, now I get these German chocolate cakes and these chocolate. I didn't see how progressive that was. I didn't even think that, wow, this teacher, look at her, she's going against these paradigms, that this is only for women. You know,
sounds like you've always just seen the world differently.
I think you have to. Reality. I think that's what happens when you're, you know, the dyslexia. I think that it kicks in, and you definitely see it in different colors, and I think that's where it came from. You know, it's just and realizing that everything you see is by design. You know, the cities are by design, and then I'm sure you feel the same way being a designer. And I ask people, what are cities? I ask architects, what are cities designed for? Architects at an architect's college. Oh, yeah. I know. What are they designed for? And the teacher, so none of the students say anything. So the professor goes, for people. And I'm like, wrong. I said, she's gonna tell you that cities are designed for people because that's what she's been taught. But that's so far from reality. I said, cities are designed for one thing, and that's commerce. Okay? Because if they were designed for people, I would be able to do like this, and I would have a pear in my hand. The air would be cleaner. There would be trees. There would be shade. You know, I wouldn't have to run from cars. I said, no, cities are designed to move shit, period.
I mean, but that's why it feels like such, why I was inspired to start designing, even though I don't have all the right fancy certifications and degrees, is because people who look like me don't design cities.
Exactly.
You know, cities are designed by one type of person.
Yeah. Yeah, and one type of person,
and oriented for one type of person to win, you know.
One type of person and one sex, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like the more people, the more diversity that comes into the design sphere, the more our cities will actually reflect us as we are and our needs.
Yeah.
What would you like to see in this new world order? What does the future, according to Ron Finley, look like?
You know, I have a sign here that on this bench right here, and it says "Operate from Happy." So when you walk into my space, that's the first thing you say. That's what my kids grew up for. Shit don't make you happy, don't do it. You know, and I figure if we're all operating from that place, and it's hard for a lot of people to even be happy or to realize what happy is. Because you're always trying to go to be successful and not realizing this time you have right now that you woke up, that you're here, that you have to appreciate that and honor that I'm successful right now without all the trappings. I want to see us. I want to see. It's like I spoke at Summit, the Summit series. Last year, and the last message I left with them, and the letters were probably 8 feet long, high, and it says, "I want you to give a fuck." That's when I walked off stage. That's what I want to happen. I want people to give a fuck. Period. Not just about you, but about the person next to you and the person next to them. You know, it's just in the next country. You know, we're hating people. Why? Because they live somewhere else. It's the same air everywhere. In Czechoslovakia, it's the same air that we're breathing. It's the same water. And the first form, it's the same blood that's running through our body, that's running through everybody's body, but we don't see it like that. I mean, as we see now, there's no need. They can end hunger. They can end homelessness like in a day if they chose to, you know. Why is it necessary? Why do you have to leave your footprint on somebody else's back on your ascension to the top when there is no top? There is no, you get there and there is no top. How many yachts do you really need? You know? That's what I want to see. But first and foremost, I think I want to see people realize that they have power, you know, realize that they have everything in you. And I think that's everything in themselves. And I think that's what I'm seeing with the responses online from Masterclass. And that's the heartwarming part, are these people taking their kids out in the yard, of people transforming their apartment buildings, to people, you know, showing me pictures of them with a truckload of soil and building garden boxes. And I'm like, damn, they activated so fast. And it just goes to show you that this was something that was needed, Lily. I mean, that this was something that was...
You just struck a match and it...
Exactly. That it's like, damn, my grandmother used to do that. So it's bringing back these memories. And
People keep saying that to us as we launch the Freedom Gardens project.
Yeah.
It's like, I have a brown thumb, I kill plants, I don't know how to plant. And it's like, this is your birthright. Every single one of your ancestors was a farmer, 100%. If you survived, if you're here today, someone knew how to grow food in your lineage.
No,
and that is in your genetic memory that you can access, you know, and that's an empowerment, you know, in a culture that tells us constantly that we are disempowered. It's very hard. It's a whole mentality and spiritual, emotional shift to be able to do something incredibly simple, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, wow, this is so special. I'm like, it's not. I said, is air special? Do you think about air being special? Of course you don't. No, that's the most special thing on this planet. But it's like, I said, I want you to think about this just like you think about air. Yeah. I want gang fights, I said, to be over who's got the baddest tomatoes. Your tomatoes ain't shit. Look at mine, you know. Are those Romas? You know, are those San Manzanos? You know, I want that to be the fight. And what's really cool is a lot of people are seeing how truly sexy this is. I think that's the cool part, you know, and that was a big thing.
Sexy.
Yeah, how do we make gardening sexy? I said, do I have to put some pole dancers or something in the garden to make it sexy? I said, that's probably gonna be
What can we do to help the Ron Finley project and you, besides installing pools in your poles in your Olympic pool? The next community planting project.
We might need to do an installation like that.
I am here for an installation. If you want support and help with an installation, I'm here for it. But
you know, this is how you make gardening sexy.
Yeah, I mean, we know about your master class and your philosophy, but what does the Ron Finley project do, and how can we support that?
What the Ron Finley project does, we do activations, we do workshops, and we do advocacy, you know, to for people to not just grow food, and it's not about showing people how to be free, showing people how important they are, and we do a lot of stuff with art. So I want to, you know, I'm trying to. What we're working on now is building out my HQ into a multi-floor building that has makerspace, like from you work with metal and wood to gardening to a full-on commercial kitchen where people from the neighborhood, they don't have to go to Pasadena, they don't have to go to Torrance to use a commercial kitchen to sell their goods. There's I want to have one right here, which we should be using all the schools in the neighborhoods to use these, since they're always crying for money. If they could make money if they rented these kitchens out after school hours. And I don't know why no one's thought about that. For people who want to, first of all, they can give cooking classes to adults, and secondly, you can have people that have businesses where they need a commercial kitchen. So that's what I just want to change the I want to redo the carpet of this whole landscape, you know, and show people that what we have and what we're missing. And I think that's what some of the things that we have established with this masterclass. It's a lot. I mean, I you know, people want to, in the whole thing with the nonprofit, I don't really get funded like a lot of people because I don't fit this one, oh, he works in recidivism, or he works to feed the hungry kids, and that's it. It's not this. It's H2O. It's a bunch of different things. You can't have this without that. And so a lot of this nonprofit stuff is they want to pigeonhole you. They want you to do one thing and that's all you do. And a lot of them, it's almost like staying broke. So I want to do what I want to do and feed the needs of my community, which is around the world. What do we need as human beings? How do we change humanity? That's all in my work. How do we empower each other? How do we have kids realizing that they're worthy of anything that they want? Not that it's promised to them, and not that you just cause you're here, you should get it. No, but you are worthy. And that's the biggest thing. They don't think they have value. So what we do, we changing all that. I got a festival that I do every year called The Function. You can look at pictures of that. The Function, and it's just fun. We have, people like Wayne Perry, he brings his pottery wheels. So we got kids throwing clay. We got circus performers showing people how to stilt walk and juggle and tumble. And we have dancers and Zumba and mosaic makers to show people how to make mosaic, making your own skincare products. And we take over this park every year for the last 5 years. And it's just fun, and people and big giant bubbles, and we put in a big garden, and so there's all kinds of stuff happening. And it's like, and I'm like, every year, why do I do this? It's exhausting.
And then when it ends, you're like, that was so important, special, and rewarding.
They're like, you have to do it. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm exhausted after. But when you see the effect that it has on the community, it's like, okay, why aren't we doing this? And and I just want to see that. I mean, yeah, we need funding and donations like everybody else, but I'm not one of those, walking around with my hand shaped like a cup. Please, sir. But we're making it happen, no matter what. And I think that's what I've learned from, being in the design business, from being Black most of my life. I've learned that no, we're gonna make it happen. Because you're gonna put a wall up in front of us, and it's gonna be hard. But I always ask people, does pain feel pain? It's like, no. So no, just what else you got? Bring it, because this little bullshit is not gonna stop me from doing what I'm doing. And I've had people purposely not give me money. So all you people
threatening, in a way. I mean, it's pretty freaking radical what you're kind of disseminating, and it destabilizes a lot of the systems that are in place right now.
Lily, why? And why should it be though? Why should it shouldn't be like that? Why should why should growing food be radical?
I know. Well, because it's been a big con. It's been like a big long con. I mean, now 2% of people live on farms as opposed to 90-something%, and most of those are corn and soybeans, and it's just
and that's useful.
A fraction is organic, and it's pumped with pesticides that are poisonous. It's just I think it is incredibly radical what you're doing, and incredibly special. And I hope people take your masterclass, Ron Finley's masterclass. They go visit the Ron Finley Project and support how they can. Is there anything else you want to share with the cultured audience before we pop off?
Plant a seed, and be creative. And there is no mistakes. There's only lessons. You were the one that you've been looking for. You were the one that can change. We all together, we can change this planet. And that's what I mean. If with what I've done, with my little teeny organization, can change what I've done, and go down the street in Brazil and somebody knows who the hell I am. Like, how the hell do you oh, you're the gangster gardener. I'm like, how the hell do you know that? In the biggest city in the world. Just imagine collectively what we could do to change this. And that's what it's all about, is to change this. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. All I want to do is I want to breathe. I want to be live for the rest of my life. But I want somebody to realize that this is at a point that this is not needed. I want people to realize what is the true cost of food. The people that grow our food, that harvest our food, how are they living? Do we care about them? What kind of struggles are they having? We don't think about that. So I want people now, when you eat something, to think about, where did this come from? Who grew it? What kind of health disparity what kind of life disparity do they have? That's what I want people to think about.
Well, I know you don't want to do it for the rest of your life, but I'm very grateful you are doing it. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for being
with us. I'm going to pause the recording.